So I watched T-Horror Lovely Blunder, and I was pretty disappointed on the whole. The humor didn't fit the story nearly as well as it did in Ragnarok, and it's really just not as funny as that movie in general. The pacing felt off, the writing seemed really clunky, and they underutilized the two things that could have maybe redeemed the underwhelming narrative. Those two things being Christian Bale as the villain, Gore the God Butcher, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Seriously, if this is all we're gonna get from that setup at the end of Endgame, then consider me highly let down. So yeah, 5 out of 10, it was incredibly mediocre. Maybe the mere fact that Taika Waititi was in Free Guy broke his brain a little bit. However, in my contemplating of the story, I came to a sudden realization. There is a hidden villain in the story of Thor Love and Thunder. Not just a villain, but one who actually ends up winning. Move over, Thanos, you've got company now. And no, I'm not talking about Zeus. They pull no punches in making it clear that he's an antagonist. The real hidden villain in this story is none other than Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. What? I know that might sound ridiculous at first, but hear me out. Because whether or not it was intentional, that means it probably wasn't, but regardless, this is now my headcanon. In case you couldn't tell, this video is going to be of the spoiler variety, so from here on out, if you haven't seen it yet, this is gonna be a spoilery, big boy, spoilery video of spoilers. So this movie reintroduces Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, whose exclusion from Ragnarok made me say this way back in the day. Bye, Felicia.
Okay, get in.
When we first see her, it turns out that she has stage 4 cancer and is looking for a bunch of different crazy ways to try and fight it. This leads to her researching the history of Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, which legend says gives the holder great health. Remember this. It will become important later. So Jane tracks down a shattered Mjolnir and it actually deems her worthy of wielding it, making her female Thor. Okay, so I guess that means her cancer's cured now?
Oh no!
In fact, it's revealed that whenever she's not holding the hammer, her body loses its ability to fight the cancer. Whatever was left of it anyway. This is despite the fact that we've seen Thor
still retain his godlike strength.
Even without the hammer. The hammer has never been the source of his power, and also despite the fact that the reason she sought it out in the first place was because it would supposedly improve her health. Now you might look at this and think, well then, that's just lazy writing. That's where you're wrong, bucko. Throughout the film, we actually see quite a few jokes about Stormbreaker being jealous of Mjolnir and vice versa, as well as Jane and Mjolnir being referred to as Thor's exes. This of course reinforces that the weapons have some type of mind of their own. I mean, the hammer deemed all of the Avengers except Cap and Vision unworthy to wield it. So let me put this scenario forward. Mjolnir was there through all of Thor and Jane's relationship and saw that Jane decided to end things with him because he just had to go off and save the world and all that dumb work shit. Oh, but what about me? Why don't you ever spend time with me anymore? Do you have to save the world? There's even a point where Jane explicitly states that she felt as though Mjolnir was calling to her to come and find it so that she could be deemed worthy to wield it. Why would it do that if it was going to drain her mortal form of her strength and let the cancer take over and eventually kill her? The answer? Mjolnir did it to get back at Jane for dumping Thor. Mjolnir assisted in killing her because she grew apart from Thor. That's f***ed up. Now I know a lot of you are gonna be hesitant to agree with me on this, but all I can really do is say, at some point, rewatch the movie with this interpretation in mind, and then tell me I'm wrong. Great video. Unbelievable. Subscribe.